All right, so something I've been wanting to do, but we've just not done, is little next on trailer reactions for upcoming episodes. They didn't. I don't think they had one for episode 2. I was looking for them. Episodes 3, we missed that one, and here we go with episode 4. So, little correction here, I guess, is that the path, which is the name of the last episode, someone pointed out, thanks to them, that is the name of a song, a very famous song from The Last of Us. But I've never really paid attention to soundtrack listing titles.
Yeah.
So the end of the first game, the song that plays right after Joel lies to Ellie and she says okay and it cuts to the credits, I guess that song's called The Path. If I had heard that song, then I would be like, oh, that's The Path. Supposedly, during the credits of that episode, there's like a Tom Morello from Rage Against the Machine cover of that song.
Oh.
That's what I read down below. I haven't went back to watch it to listen, but I should have known that it probably was named after a song. So anyway, there's that. This episode, though, episode 4, I have no doubt will be called Take On Me by Aha. I'm going to assume that because we see Ellie playing guitar for Dina, and the song that she plays for her in the game is Take On Me. So I can only assume that's what she plays for her here.
I would also assume.
A scene that we've been really looking forward to getting. Mm-hmm. But let's start at the beginning here. So we have Isaac pulling up to some outside residents. They don't look like they're part of the wolves. They're definitely not Seraphites. So there's some other group of people that are still trying to survive in the Seattle QZ.
They do ask if he's Isaac.
Yeah.
So they know him.
So this must be a leader of their group.
Maybe, yeah.
So at the end of episode 3, we see the wolves are driving their, tanks and Humvees and all this, showing their might. I can only assume that this is where they're heading. Now, it does only look like it's just Isaac in like one car with a couple other people. It doesn't seem like he has a whole militia like behind him. I didn't know if this was maybe a flashback. So in the game, the first time we meet Isaac is when he's torturing someone, which, really kind of tells us exactly what we need to know about his character. That he's this force to be reckoned with and probably going to be one of the antagonists. But that is our introduction, and we do see that scene here in the trailer, which we also saw in the trailer for the season. I can't remember if in the game, I know the person is bald, shaved head and everything, and because the Seraphites are also shaved. I'm pretty sure that's a Seraphite. This is a war that he wants to get into because he wants to go to war with the Seraphites.
Yes.
Right. And Isaac was one of the leaders of the original wolves while Fedra was still in charge of the Seattle QZ. Mm-hmm. And it was Isaac who rose up and took over the Fedra camp and took them down and took over and then moved everyone into the stadium to keep control of all of his people. Now in this, of course, they're using Fedra automobiles as well as, Isaac's wearing a straight up Fedra uniform.
Yeah, yeah.
So he is, I don't know who these people are. I know that the actress, I'm very familiar with her. I've seen her in plenty of things. She's playing a new character, Hanrat or something. I looked it up and was like, I have no idea who that is. I don't know what these characters are. These are just going to be other survivors outside of the two warring factions.
Yeah, right. Which we kind of talked about sort of in the last video that we did on this, like just how that there would be so many different types of people out in the world,
Sure.
and so many groups really.
Yeah.
Is the main thing. So yeah.
Yeah. Next we see Dina and Ellie, and Dina is counting on her fingers. I can only assume she's counting the number of infected as they listen. This is actually a really good touch for the video game. Little nod to the video game. So one of the key features of the video game is listening mode, where you kind of crouch down and you really hone in, and because of that you can like see through walls, and as you upgrade stuff you can see better and further and whatever. And in episode 1 we got to see Ellie pick up a bottle and throw it, right?
Yeah.
So it's and jump, do the sneak attack.
And Dina did the counting then as well too, to show that there was 2.
Right, exactly. That's what I'm saying. So it's just their way of kind of doing listening mode without like showing that she can see through walls or whatever, like the video game. But this is a really cool nod to, the listening technique.
Yeah.
Within the video game.
Yeah, I like it. I think it as you said, like it's just a nice little kind of connection to the video game for people who have played. And it also makes it very tense too, of course, because like the number keeps rising. And when the infected break through, I mean, it's definitely more than 5 that are kind of coming, unless that's a different scene. It looks like it's the same, like it looks like it's in the same area that Ellie and Dina are in, but I could be wrong on that. But it definitely looks like a lot more than 5.
So she gets into a fight with probably a wolf. Because they see a patch that's a wolf patch, so they know they're on the right track. Then Ellie goes and tackles a human in like riot gear. Now in the game, Ellie is captured by Jordan, Nick, and Leia are taken out of Abby's crew. The people that go to take down Joel is taken from 8 down to 5 in the show, and they kind of just condensed a lot of people into Manny. So I do wonder if the guy she's tackling is Manny, because we do see him at the end of episode 3 as he's kind of like reporting and telling them all clear or whatever. So this could be a place where Dina and Ellie run into their first person that was part of that group, because he captures her, and then she gets freed and they kill them, and then the other 2 are killed by one's killed by the Seraphites and one's killed by Tommy. But I don't know how any of that will play out, but I could see this maybe being Manny that she tackles, which would start to lead her down her path. You know who is for sure absent from this trailer? Abby.
Yeah.
Once again.
Yeah.
Now, that makes me wonder. Are we going... Because the thought process here for me was either A, when we had talked about what episode 3 was going to be about, was it going to be the audience having to immediately learn about Abby so that they don't just build hate in their mind? Or is an absence makes the heart grow fonder approach the better way to go, to where if you don't see her for episodes, you can kind of calm down? Because seeing her right after Joel's death, right? Like first, like if it opened up and it was Abby, be like, there's that bitch. And it kind of like reinforces that desire for her to die and you want her killed. But if you are trying to build her up, spoilers for the game, obviously, if you're trying to build her up as this sympathetic character that you're supposed to get on board with and ultimately has a redemption arc, is it better for an audience that does not know that to have some time where we are away from her? Maybe even, like, I can't imagine the rest of the season, but if they were going by kind of the game, we don't see Abby again until Ellie's story is done at the end of day 3 in Seattle, and then we go and relive. I can't imagine that they're going to do things out of order like that. I can't imagine that we're going to go to the end of season 2, and then season 3 is going to be rewind. Let's do everything from Abby's perspective.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't see that really happening either, but it's possible, I suppose. I'm expecting that we'll see more of Abby in, like, maybe some of the later episodes this season. If not in this next one. I mean, I know she's not in the, like, sneak peek preview, but she could still be in the episode.
100%.
So,
I think it's more than likely she is in this episode.
Yeah, I do too. Just because I think that we're going to be dealing with, like, obviously we're with Isaac and the wolves, and I think that we're going to encounter Abby in those scenes.
I agree. I mean, that's where, Abby is going to talk to Isaac with Owen. They get there. He's torturing this guy. Then they get on the elevator together, and they have this big, long discussion about, like, you know, our numbers are dwindling, and we can't take this for much longer, so, like, now is an all-out assault kind of thing. So they, like, want to go to, like, a final war. I can only imagine that this will be back and forth. Because there's no way you're going to just completely cut out not only Bella Ramsey, not only freaking, Pedro Pascal, all these people from season 3 almost completely, right? You're just going to have an entire season of just Abby, somebody that the audience, like, hates, and you have to, like, learn. There's no way. There's a 99.9% chance. I would say 100% chance it's not going to happen. I have a feeling we will be seeing Abby in this episode. We're going to start building the relationship with Owen. We just probably don't want to show her in the trailer, because it's supposed to be a surprise of when we see her again, right? Like, the audience who hasn't played the game doesn't know if she's going to be, like, the final boss. Like, we're not going to see her again until Ellie comes up on her and gets her vengeance or whatever. So I think maybe they're just kind of trying to keep that for, like, when the next time we see Abby is. Which I don't know. I think the next time we see Abby, it'll be similarly to, like, her waking up in her bed. Because that's, like, one of the first times we see Abby in the game is when, like, Owen comes to get her, and then they, like, walk through the stadium together and then lead their way to the big fight and all that stuff. So I have a feeling it's going to be somewhat similar, but we do need to see some backstory to her, and I don't know when that will be given out to us.
Yeah.
Like, will we see the flashback with her dad in the zebra, Owen in the Ferris wheel, like, stuff like that? I don't know. I mean, I hope so.
Yeah, I do too. I would very much like to see all that stuff. Even if it's just, like a quick little scene thrown in. I think it would be really great to see it, and I think those are important scenes for Abby's character as well.
Yeah. The Take On Me song, I mean, I can only assume, because this is where it takes place in the game. From what I can tell from the scenery, it's very quick. It's a very quick little scene. The way Dina's on the floor and looking up at Ellie, very cool. Mm-hmm. Awesome. Just perfect recreation of the game. Loving it. But that has to be the theater, which happens, this is out of order, so, like, this is after they're down in the subway.
Yeah.
And then they run, and when we see them running in this trailer, I'm assuming the doors they're running to will be the theater doors, and they'll be running through and then barricading that, and then they'll deal with it that way. So and then we as I said, we were in the subway. Then this seems to be where Ellie will get infected. In the game, as she takes off the mask to show Dina, like, look, I'm immune. Like, don't take off your mask. There is no spores yet.
Right. Not so far.
So I can only assume that Dina is going to witness Ellie get bit.
Yes.
Because I don't see how we introduce spores. They get the knowledge of what spores are. Ellie breathes them in, and then they're running from infected, and she turns around to shoot her without knowing anything about. It's gonna have to be changed to a bite. she's going to clearly see Ellie get bit, and then she's going to turn around and she's going to hold the gun to her, and she's going to be like, you know, and then Ellie's going to be like, look, and she's going to pull up her shirt and say, I've been bit, this is what I have the tattoo for, like, I'm immune, this is what Joel did, like, don't shoot me. So obviously for the audience it's supposed to be like Dina's turning on her, she's, you know.
Oh, well, no, I don't think people are going to think that Dina's turning on her with
you
that.
think they think it's just she's infected?
Yeah, like she's like crying because she doesn't want to have to shoot her.
Yeah, okay.
But she's like, I have to kill you now.
Right.
So.
Yeah, I mean, I guess with the audience, at this point, they can probably guess that Ellie's infected. And,
quote unquote.
And
right.
then she's going to have to be like, I'm not infected. So, Dina will find out that Ellie is immune next episode.
Yes.
We're going to get in the theater. We're going to meet Isaac. I think we'll see Abby. We'll build some relationship between Owen and Abby. We might find out that Mel is pregnant. Stuff like that. So, all of exactly what we expected. There's nothing in this trailer that was like, oh, we're doing that now. It's just following the linear path of what the story was unfolding to be, as we have since episode 1 of this season.
Yeah, definitely nothing super surprising.
No.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, very exciting. Just once again, I think this show is doing such a perfectly wonderful job of adapting this. I think they're adding so many important things. They're taking time to breathe and really flesh things out and changing things around in a really smart way. So I just couldn't be happier. The more I think about episode 3, the more I love it. The more I've listened to the podcast with Neil Druckmann and Craig Mazin that Troy Baker puts on, and then watching some other things. It's just like, okay, I'm all in. Like, I didn't think I ever wasn't.
Yeah, I didn't either.
I'm just like, every little moment you just experience it. I'm trying to take down notes, and I'm trying to make sure I'm really and I'm not just soaking in every little detail. It takes a few times to get all those things, but all those extra tiny little details, stuff we didn't even mention in our review because we're talking so much about so many different things. It's hard to keep it all on track, but just they've really richened everything once again, and I can't wait to see how, every episode we always get these extra bits that do such a great job of enhancing everything I already love.
Yes, I think that's been really a prominent feature of the show since season 1, that anything that's different or new is always done in such a skillful way to enhance the story as it is. So it really just brings more of what you already are familiar with in the game to the show.
If you want the full experience, make sure you're watching the behind the scenes that they release every week with the episode, as well as the Last of Us official podcast, wherever you find your podcasts. And other than that, I think that's that. So we'll see you on Sunday.
Yeah.
All right, guys.
Sunday.
Bye.
Bye.